But speaking the truth is more than that. It's not the easy generalities, well, do this and don't do that, but the kind of truth that gets down to somebody on a personal level and says, here's how you do this. Here's how you can be honest in this hard situation. Here's how you can be that good person that comes through and speaks the truth without hurting people. Speaks the truth in a way that builds one another up. And that's the key. We have to build one another up. We need to be connected in such a way as human beings, as Christians, that we're able to approach each other when something is wrong and deal with it. Just come right out and say it. That there's a problem here. We need to find a way to correct it. We have to have that kind of trust level with one another. I have to believe in you, and you have to believe in me, that we're Christian people who want nothing but good for one another. And even if we say something that hurts at the moment, it's for our healing and our life and our strength. Our problem is that we tend to reserve our honest comments for when we are angry in our commenting. This is a bad combination. It's like putting your Alka-Seltzer in soda pop. Bad. Okay? You don't do those kind of things. It's explosive. But it makes us feel powerful for a moment. We're able to just let it all boil out and explode and tell somebody how we really feel, even though it leaves damage and destruction in its wake. We have to find a way to speak the truth in love, as Paul tells us for. We have to do it in a loving way. And I'm wondering if there is a Christian brother someplace who can come along to call Captain excited and explain to him the trouble that he's walking into and give him the strength. I hope he has that person. I hope he does. Now, the second thing Paul points out to us is related to the first, where he says, in your anger, do not sin. Paul does not say, you can't be angry. And this is a novel thing to us. It was to me when somebody first presented it to me, because I had always been taught that the Christian's always nice and is never angry. Never has a temper. And I had a problem with that because I always had a temper. And it's very pretty deep, but it's there. And when it goes boom, it really goes boom. If I let it. Jesus was angry. When he came to Jerusalem, nearly the final time in his life when he came, and he looked in the temple, and the buyers and the sellers were cheating the faithful by charging exorbitant prices for the sacrificial animals, not allowing outside animals to come in, and really taking the population for more than they could possibly afford, and it was all going into the pockets of the high priest. It was their political power. It's their position and their strength. That's how they bought their office. High priest of the Jews went to the Romans and paid them so that they could become the high priest and therefore reap the rewards of what the temple provided. And Jesus was angry. He went in and he turned over the tables. He chased out the sellers. He turned their animals loose. He dumped the money on the floor, fixing the money of the money changers. Now, don't you think that was the duking it out afterwards? I know that was my denarius. That's my fingerprints on it. I can't imagine the mess that caused. The infighting that went on. But Jesus confronted it with power. And we are called, as Christians, faithful Christians, to face what is wrong head on. But he says, in your anger, do not sin. First of all, you don't sit by and passively watch. You don't. We have to take action. But we must do it in a way that's constructive and not destructive. And doesn't do more damage than the sin itself that we're watching. We have to be kind and generous and encouraging in our discipline with one another. Teaching one another in a loving way. Be sure to make the issue. And not make it the person the issue. It's not about who they are, it's about what they have done. We tend to vilify the person and say that they are a liar, a cheat, foolish, untrustworthy, blah, blah, blah. No, we confront behaviors, what has concretely been done. And that way we get rid of the bitterness, as Paul talks about. We get rid of the anger and the brawling and the slander. Down in 31 to 32 of this same chapter, he talks about these things. The violence that is among believers sometimes. This anger with one another that gets very, very personal and attacking. It's not about their character, it's about what they have done. Those things need to be faced. Moreover, Paul says, you do it kindly, you do it directly, but you don't hold a grudge. He says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. That's how it's said in the King James. And that's really good. Don't just sit on that anger and let it boil and fester and just hold it up and gather it up. You see, we have this problem. If we feel powerless, the one time we feel powerful is when we're angry. And it's just boiling out in our minds. And our hearts are just wound up like this, and we're going to go out and really do something about this. And it feels good to feel powerful. But it's wrong. Because it becomes about me getting revenge on that person who did me so bad. It's the same way for you. That's not allowed. It's not us who's offended. It's the Lord. All sin is against God. You and I just have to be in the way. But it's really about defense against God. That's not allowed for us. We cannot hoard that. That's my right, my position, and why I'm so righteous. Because that gives the devil a foothold. Paul says, and don't give the devil a foothold. That's a great expression. It reminds me a bit of D-Day, and of course there's been a lot of things on the History Channel about D-Day and how the Allied forces came to that beach. They came on these boats so exposed, so dangerous, and they charged onto that beach and they got a foothold. That's what they did. They dug in and got a place where they could make a stand. And the fortunate thing is that Hermann Rommel, who was in charge of the German forces in that area, he was back in Germany seeing the field. The second command didn't have the moxie to say, we've got to go do something about this. See, they had battalions of elite Panzer soldiers and tanks, the heavy, heavy armored tanks that the Germans had. They were within 30 miles. Could have been there overnight. But they were never ordered into the fight until Rommel got back 3 days later. And by that time, the Allies were on the beach. They had dug in, they had a good piece of land, and they were getting reinforced. You see, this is what happens to us. We allow Satan to get a foothold in us, in our anger, in our frustration. We hold on to it. We have a grudge into the night. We think about it day and night, and we get all angry. And he gets his claws into us so that it becomes a tremendous battle to ever root him out. Paul says, don't even let him start. Keep him at arm's length. Don't let him get a foothold. Be ready to mobilize your spiritual strength at a moment's notice. And Paul says, when you become in Christ, you cannot remain the way you have always been. The third thing he talks about here is, he says, the man who's been stealing, the man who's a thief, steal no more. Now, doesn't that sound obvious to us? It sounds obvious, you know, you're a Christian, not doing a thief thing. So, if thief stops stealing, how's he and his family going to eat? Who here would hire right off the street a known thief? Really? Can you see how that's a step of faith? Somebody who's made their livelihood that way for so many years. This is what they know. They don't have a job. They don't have connections. The only people they know are people who will steal from them if they give them half a chance. How is this guy going to stop on the moment and find something to do with his hands so he can provide for his family? Jesus came to the well, the city of Sychar, and he stopped. The disciples went in to find some bread. The woman comes to the well in the middle of the day, and it's this woman who's an outcast because of her family relationship. She's been married 2 or 3 times. Now she's broken up. She's living with this guy because she and her children have to live some way. And Jesus says, go and sin no more. Talk about the street. Really? Don't you see this as a large thing that he commands? How many times have I been told by young couples are told that 12 tribes got up and walked out of the greatest military nation of their day. They owned nothing, but on the way out, the Egyptians gave them everything they wanted. And then they walked out into a trackless desert with no water, no source of food that they knew of. They walked out in there, and 40 years later, ended up in the promised land. It would also go. But they went out on faith that God would work and make a way. You see the challenge that's there? He says, you who have been doing wrong, you stop it. And I know you can't see how it's going to work, but it will. See, that's the promise. 3 million people, by most calculations, are what entered the promised land. In a place that wouldn't be 2 or 3 million. Wow. These are great commands to us. Great challenges that we would give up our power, if you want to call it that, that is our anchor. And that we would let God deal with the wrong. That we would be willing to trust God even though we can't see how it would possibly work. That we would be willing to shed this way of life that we thought was important before. He's called to us. Will we trust Him? Will we trust Him to do that for us? Will we rely on God's power? Will we experience His presence? Can we find Him and know that He's made a way for us? Our invitation to Him this morning, as we sing it, we're going to stand and sing it here in a minute. As we come, we need to remember what God has done for us. We have to trust Him that He is enough to make a way for us, that He has power. We have to believe that He will bring us healing and life, where the way we have always lived only brings destruction and death. He wants us to have hope in Him. So as we sing today, as we call on His name, we need to stand and call on His name to bless us with that power to live for His people, as His people, and by His Spirit.